Well, at least this happened when it comes to ICP. Nothing I say is financial advice. However, remember the World Computer Day event? A lot of people were trying to tell me, oh, it's useless now that it's already kind of not relevant anymore. It's like, whatever. People like to say that now that the event is kind of basically done. But here's the thing. Take a look at Dominic Williams, founder of Dfinity. He made a post not too long ago saying how he's super excited. For what, you may ask? It's for something called Swiss Subnet, and it's supposedly the first national subnet launched at World Computer Day at Davos, Switzerland. Now, people might be thinking, like, okay, what is this? Like, who cares? Well, here's the thing. Even though if I explain the whole thing, it's going to be a little bit boring, I'm just going to put it in a more simple way, right? Basically, if we take a look at the hypothetical deployment of apps, right? Supposedly it can be done on sovereign internet computer, or should I say ICP territory, keeping all data and computation in Switzerland. So I find it pretty cool. Now, if we take a look at Swiss Subnet, again, it's a Swiss sovereign cloud infrastructure for enterprises and regulated environments. So I find it, again, pretty interesting to me at least. However, it's also designed for AI native workloads, for instance. So I find that very impressive to me. And the thing is, people may be thinking, okay, like, this is not even anything that interesting. Well, at least it's something, right? At least it's something from the World Computer Day event. So if it's completely useless, I maybe disagree with that. The thing is this, people like to say, well, okay, who cares about this? ICP is still literally around 31 times, basically, around that, lower than $100. I'm totally aware of that, but I feel like this is beyond the internet computer. This is not a reflection, arguably, of, I think, the project in and of itself. I think it's a reflection of the sentiment when it comes to the altcoin space, the sentiment when it comes to just the whole space overall. But I don't think it's a true representation of how well the internet computer is doing, fundamentally speaking, because sure, it may not be a big deal, this thing right here, but if a project is still developing, still doing something, we have to consider kind of the team's motivation, right? The team's sort of perseverance, the resilience, because doing the World Computer Day event, do you think that is like something that is easy to do? Like, first of all, there needs to be a lot of resources, time, energy, and keep in mind, there was a lot of professors there, a lot of entrepreneurs speaking at that event. That's not that easy sometimes to coordinate. A lot of these entrepreneurs, they have things to do. Like, they're just not gonna want to spend time randomly like that to do things that they don't find important. This is the way to take a look at it. So when I take a look at Dfinity, I'm pretty impressed actually so far. The thing is this though. This is, I think, maybe hypothetically just the surface of what this event could have done, because we have to consider this happened at the World Computer Day event, again, this Swiss subnet launch, and it was pretty cool to me. But at least when I take a look at it, we have to consider the connections they made during that event, right? The collaborations that could be going on. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Or the things that are planned. Because sometimes these events, it's like a networking thing, right? Where other people meet each other. Maybe they, try to build something together, try to work on new ideas, maybe discuss new ideas, right? Discuss new hypotheticals. So the way I take a look at it is that overall, I don't think the event was a failure in my perspective. Like, okay, sure, it's not the coolest thing of all time, some people may argue, but I don't think it was a failure to me. I find it pretty cool, at least in terms of what they've done so far, and I think maybe what future implications it could have for the internet computer moving forward. Now, people like to tell me, okay, but no one's really going to care about a project that is like irrelevant, like the internet computer. But I don't think about it as being irrelevant because, sure, ICP hasn't done the best ever since it launched, right, in terms of the charts, but I also don't think I've seen an altcoin season during this cycle. And also on top of that as well, I feel like even though ICP as of right now is around 31 times lower than $100, my kind of perception is that I'm looking to dollar cost average here. This is not telling anyone to do anything, right? This is only personally for me. But if it could stay at around these levels, am I going to be complaining? I highly doubt it. I'm not going to be complaining because I'm dollar cost averaging once a month. I don't do any less than that. I don't do any more than that either. That's it. But would I prefer dollar cost averaging into ICP like at around these levels, or if it's at around $10. Actually, I would not prefer it around $10, even though it'd be more of a mood booster, right? It'd be more of like a mood sort of stimulating type of thing where I see the charts and I'm like, oh wow, it's at hypothetically that point, right? But at the same time, for dollar cost averaging, I wouldn't prefer that at all. Now, I don't want it this low forever, of course. Why would I want that? But for dollar cost averaging, it's something that I wouldn't be upset about if I could do that, especially at a time like this when the range is at around $3. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, when I take a look at the internet computer, my kind of perception also is that I don't think that it could ever become more popular than Cardano or like Solana. Like, come on. I don't think so, especially during the cycle. We'll wait and see 5 or 10 years later, but during the cycle, no way, in my perspective. But is that a concern for me either? No, because it doesn't need to become the best thing of all time. Like, why? Not every single car company out there needs to become the next Lamborghini or Ferrari. That's sometimes not hypothetically a possibility, right? So when I take a look at the internet computer, it doesn't need to become the best. All it needs to do, I think, is hypothetically just stay relevant. And that's enough, I suppose, for me. Like, they're already doing things anyways. Like, for instance, if the internet computer, let's say Dfinity didn't really update anymore, they just left it as it is. Right now, they don't develop anything anymore, let's say, for whatever reason. Like, that's already, in my opinion, hypothetically impressive enough for me. Like, other projects out there that are sometimes even way bigger than this, they're not even doing 5% of the things they're doing. Like, in terms of the updates, the developments, and all this, they're just not doing anything. So Dfinity has already done quite a lot, actually, in my perspective, considering the scale of the project, right? It's not the biggest thing of all time, keep in mind. So they're still at least doing something. It's kind of like even already enough in my perspective, but they still seem to be wanting to do more. It's like, for instance, having like a 92% in my test in an exam. Like, is another 1 or 2% really going to matter? No, personally for me. Like, the internet computer's already done quite a lot through like what Dfinity did and all this type of stuff. It's already like kind of here. But they still keep wanting to do hypothetically a little bit more, which I find very impressive. I mean, they didn't have to do it. It takes a lot of time, energy, and a lot of effort. But if they want to do it, I'm not going to complain about that. I actually like it because if a project that I'm a fan of is doing the extra credit, so to speak, right? If they're actually going ahead and doing that extra mile, I'm a fan of that. So ultimately, as of right now, I'm still waiting though. I mean, that's all I can really do. But in the meantime, I don't think that the World Computer Day event was a flop. I don't think it was a complete failure. If anything, I think it was pretty cool seeing that. Again, this Swiss subnet thing. And also on top of that, maybe what future collaborations could be had as a result of that event. So yeah, overall, I don't think it was a failure of an event, but we'll wait and see moving forward when it comes to ICP. But I'm still waiting. I'm still here. And I'm just going to wait. That's it. I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all have a very nice day. And I'll see y'all on the next video. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. I'll catch y'all on the next one.